Alrighty, team. Let's go. Let's go. Um, oh snap. Give me a second. Ooh, I think I always take the things that happen in the readings as like synchronicities and stuff. And I just had to disconnect my phone from the charger. And I think, or even as I'm just feeling this message, it feels like somebody's actually getting disconnected. I don't know if they are disconnected themselves from like their own feelings, their own reality, but I also get it in a sense like when somebody's trying to like tap into your energy, they're going to be disconnected from your energy. They're going to be pulled away. So, yeah, honestly, I don't know how this is gonna go. It just feels like there's an energy that's really rushing to kind of like make its way through. But yeah, I just put my phone down so I can just, keep track of the time. And or even for me to say that, it's like, I don't know, observation, tracking energy. It's like it's a bit weird. But as always, I just wanna actually just pray real quickly. Like, yo, God, thank you so much for this time and this place. May Archangel Michael please protect this reading. And just thank you that it's being channeled at this time. May we serve, may we observe, and may this be filled with light and advise us, guide us on what it is that we need to do. And thank you. Blessings on blessings. Ashe. Amen. All right. So yeah, let's begin, gang. I was just led to bringing these two decks out, so let's see what we got. For me to bring out the book one more time, I think there's definitely something in there for us. But yes, as we start, greetings, Soul Tribe. Greetings, Soul Tribe. Don't mind me. Thank you for being the vibe. It's your host doing the most, G3E, the one and only. Welcome to another episode of the Daily Spread, where we take the journey within, where we are led. Ooh, let's see, physical issues. Okay, I actually think, what, let's stop right there. Where we take the journey within and we are led, and on this path, oh goodness, wow, I'm even like stuffing up my intro right now. Guys, what's going on? But you know what? Thank you, God. Thank you, angels. Thank you, guardians. Thank you, ancestors, and all the beings wishing us well. May this reading be swell, and in the highest vibration of love we dwell. At the back of our deck, what do we have? Loss, reversal of fortune. Wow. Okay. Let's put this down here, and let's leave this here. Ooh, Spirit's telling me like we're gonna do this similar to how I like watching readings from this lady. Her name is Susan. It's so interesting that I'm so much more open now myself, even to, speaking to the people that I learned from. Because, oh, okay. Because I understand that it's not just me. I am a student as much as I'm here to teach and like, guide and instruct or lead others. I'm also being led to, discovering, uncovering. Okay, one more. It's fine. We'll take it. So we're going 5. Man, I just think it's so interesting that like, we get to go through this journey and just learn so much about ourselves, But yeah, I think there's something to that, that when we know that we are students, that we are still learning, we open ourselves to it. There's always so much to learn from other people in our lives, other experiences. But before we begin, I think it's very important for us to remember that, with guidance, with us always tapping in, tuning in, we always win at the end. If we seeing ourselves in the eyes of source, then we're going to know that like no maganjani, no matter what, uh, no matter what gebeur, man, no matter what happens, bruv, you're always gonna win. And even through those dark times, even through a loss, let's begin. I think there's an energy that's approaching or within our energy. Clearly it was, coming through with a disruption. It's trying to interfere with the introduction. It's, trying to get us to disconnect from who we are, our source, our energy. Ultimately, it's like trying to get us to perform out of character. And in the background, with me seeing this lost card, it's like what we don't see, or what's actually happening in the background, is this reversal of fortune. This is this energy desiring to see us in a lesser than state, not in this position that we are in. I think, there's something about the fortune, a recognition of like, hey, this person is actually powerful. This person is great. This person is, I'm speaking to us as the collective right now, that we have, something magnetic, something attractive to us. And, just like how this person's coming to this, man, like a thief in the night, trying to, steal your abundance, steal your energy, just steal this thing that you have in abundance. And, it could be your light. It could be, just your presence. Ultimately, I just get this energy that you shine so much that, they want you to be in a lost state. I actually want to see what's happening here. Finding love, goodness gracious. This is very similar to what we had in the previous reading. And yo, I'm getting something about the left leg right now. I don't know if, okay, I'm actually seeing this as now coming through with this physical issue. I don't know if, with this person now operating from loss. Ooh, you know what? This is telling me this is what was coming. This is something that was trying to come through in the last reading that I did with this deck, where we were thinking or on this journey of saying that we're going to find love. And I'm also thinking about the last reading that I did, where because we are on this mission for love, because this energy is rising so much higher, this person is actually like, ultimately blocking you finding this love or usurping this energy in a sense. That's very, very interesting. And behind this, we have overworked. I think this person is definitely looking for a change in their lives because, like it's saying here, things are out of balance. I'm also getting a sense of like being misunderstood, being very tired, not necessarily seeing the fruits of your labor. So it's interesting because it's like, the loss, it's like, let me take your energy. Let me get in the way of you finding love. And the real reason is because I'm also getting this sense of like, the real reason is because they are tired. They don't have anything. Almost it's like, they're bored. They don't have any other work to do. But then I'm also getting this overworked. It's like they're finding joy in disturbing you as you are pursuing love, as you are raising the vibration in this area, in this place, or in this space. Wow. I didn't think that was going to come through like that. But hey, here we are. Let's get one more in the background. What else are we missing? What else is it that we don't see? A lack of connections. Yeah. You know what? When somebody... I get it. It's like it's coming across as like kind of like a bully energy. When somebody, what's out behind this? Archangel, spirit connections. Okay. Looks like actually these two cards want to be read together. When somebody is like isolated or they don't have company, they are, I would say, living in like a loop, in a trap in a sense. I mean, this guy looks alone in this house, it's like in these structures that we build, we can sometimes put ourselves in cages in a sense. And it's coming through like, this person, because of their lack of connections, they see people who are connected, who are, living from their passion, and they try to bring them into their world or into isolation as well. I'm also getting something about, hermit card. I'm also looking at this person, with white hair, and that's speaking to wisdom. And I'm just wondering, like, also on this side with, this person not having any, but then they like, are almost like opposites to each other, where this person is older and should have wisdom, but now here's this younger person with all this ability, with all this shielding, who's appearing as passionate and very much connected, now being faced with somebody who's disconnected. Ooh, there we go with the disconnection. Wow. Okay. Starting to shape, it's starting to take form right now. You know, wow, it looks like these are two opposing forces in a sense, because even now, 7, I was about to say 78 because of the, the 7 here and the 8 here, because there's 2. There's no balance ultimately. These things are out of balance. And, for spirit to even lead me to saying 78, I'm thinking how, that's 2 numbers away from 80, which would be 80, which would be reduced back to 8, a manifestation, a co-creation, stepping into like magician type of an energy, manifestation again energy. So it's like nothing is actually being created from this. So it's like 2 steps away, or it's like it's so close that these 2 people, these 2 characters, if they could work together, something powerful could actually be manifested, but it's not happening because of this disconnection. One who's disconnected or has a lack of connections, and then this one here who's focused on the spirit connection. It's coming across as the disturbing energy as well as the collective right now. Definitely hold your stance, because this person, what's going on with this door? This door has a lock on it. It actually kind of looks like, those locks that like lock to the side type of a thing. It looks like that's what's actually happened on this lock. This person is definitely isolated, but also I'm getting that cage trapped energy again. Energy. Okay, I don't know. That's something there. But again, it's out of balance. The number 2 is now being explained. What was out of balance? It's these 2 characters, right? And this person's trying to overwork this character, but then also they too are overworked and also being misunderstood, and they see that you are on a mission to find love, and as you are moving towards your love, we don't want you to tap into that high energy, so we're going to lead you to loss. Interesting, reading it backwards and forwards, that's also 2 directions, backwards, forwards. So the number 2 again is coming through here. Again, in the background, we have the Hanged Man. I think, I'm getting this energy again of being misunderstood. It's like a bully. A bully always like bothers other people because they want attention. They want to be loved. They want to be seen. I'm also getting that, it's like amber, it's like I have amber here on my wrist. It's like just a warning, people are, like giving out red flags. It's like that's their way of like crying for help when they actually have things that they're dealing with. So then they just start to bother other people. But yes, here we are with the Hanged Man. Let's look at the situation from a different perspective. What is it that we can observe? What is it that we can learn? And, with me even looking at it in this card, there was something that was actually trying to come through. Let me sit with it. Hold up. Just sipping on some water today. Spirit, what are we saying? It's like, okay, let me actually tap into what it feels like. I'm thinking they're gonna give it to me as like a hit in my mind or as I'm gonna hear it, but there's actually a feeling coming through. This feels like, when someone has been, isolated or kept in a dark place for so long that when a light is presented to them, it's foreign. It's like, how vampires don't go out in the daylight, and when they do go out in the daylight, when they see the stars, when they see the sun shine, because the sun is a star, when they see the sun, it actually burns their skin. And it's like before people were vampires, they were able to go into the sun, they were able to be joyous, to be able to be free. But sometimes, you shine so bright. Sometimes they forget what the sun feels like because they've been in this cold area. It's this place feels so barren. It feels so isolated. And yeah, it definitely feels like a seclusion. It feels like I'm getting like these shiver feelings right around me right now. And again, I'm being reminded of me saying something about the left leg. And then just look at this person's left leg. It's bound. It's been held back. Finn here, goodness gracious, what adventure did you go on? And it's like also leading me to think like this person that's like trying to come into our energy as the collective is like, what did they go through that put them in this place? Something gives me an option of like chosen isolation as well, where sometimes we make decisions that like are very determinant, that put us down a path that we can't turn back from. That once we are so deep in it and we realize like, oh flip, I should have taken a right turn 20 minutes ago. Now I'm lost in the jungle, or I could have actually made better choices for myself so that I don't have to be here. But it's definitely coming through as like someone who's misunderstood, and they are not necessarily like now coming forward to say what it is that they have experienced or are going through, these issues that they are now feeling. And it's also now, okay, I'm being led to look at this, but let me put this down quickly, because Spirit's saying look behind this deck. But as I look at this physical issue, I'm also thinking about how like cancer manifests in the body. I'm also being drawn to look at here, illness, accident, injury. It's like I believe, and from even my understanding from how I even interpret energy working within our bodies, it's like we will get cancer because there's that part of ourselves that we are not living to our fullest potential, or not doing the things that we need to do in that area. So I'll use smoking as an example. If you smoke a lot, you might get lung cancer because you were kind of warned that you don't need to ingest or intake so much of this harmful substance by taking that stance. And you holding that stance is what kind of now resulted or manifested in these cancerous cells. Another example could be, let's say you are meant to speak, you are meant to teach, and then you get like throat cancer because you didn't use your vocal cords, you didn't use your gift. So I'm thinking that like, or how it's feeling and coming through is that like, we are often guided to make certain decisions or steps with our gifts. And I was even seeing a video the other day, I think it was maybe some Carl Jung inspired video, but it was speaking to how like our addictions are ultimately messengers or signs of what it is that we are being called to do, or things that we need to like transmute, alchemize, and overcome so that we can even teach people about those things, right? So in this case, just using that throat thing as an example, if I'll put myself in that position. If I stop smoking, then I can now tap into my throat chakra and be a better leader, teacher, and guide. If someone else stops smoking, again, I'm thinking about the lung cancer now, they can perhaps find a greater sense of calm, because some people only breathe when they're smoking. So it's like if you can take an opportunity to learn how to breathe, you can actually calm down and get to a point of stillness, a point of oh, my computer just switched off, a point of like, switching off, being able to like dim those energies, those voices that are actually disturbing you, because it's like we get into, these pastimes or, other things because we are avoiding facing what the actual issue is. So it looks like, there's this energy of, an illness, accident, injury, like this says, but it's like this chariot, this movement in a particular direction was impeded. It's being stopped. And, it's now being caused to not like spill over. That's what I'm getting from that. Coming back to the tarot again, just looking at the situation from a different perspective. Again, you look at here, we're getting the Two of Wands again. It's like this comparison energy of like, which which gherkin here is going to be elevated, which cucumber is going to be elevated. I'm thinking about the water in these fruits or vegetables, and I'm also seeing like now an image of a cactus to say, will I rise to give the water, or will I decrease to poke and, like poke the bear, be the bully in this sense? But then again, we rising to give the water. That's the direction that we're looking towards. Because even as I keep it here and look more in this direction, it's like these two people can double up and actually, create a homecoming, create peace and harmony, a space that like, people can thrive in, actually create a family. Have or could they or have they come together? Had they come together? Wow. So many it's coming through as like, opportunities or possibilities. Had they come together? Have they come together? Could they come together? But then it looks like, this is an integration of the young and the old, which is what we were seeing behind this, because here's this person with the wisdom, and I'm getting the youngness, from the BMO carrying, with the game there in the background. It's like, allow the young generation to carry the old generation, because there's something to learn, there's something to integrate from these two generations coming together. And as we can see, look at now the young ones that follow. It's like, even in the background, there's other people there. So this could actually be celebrated. This could be something so beautiful if these two energies were to come together, the collective and this energy that's trying to put us at a loss again here. It's so interesting that like, this could be a conducive, conductive space for home activities. When you have extended family, immediate family, with your immediate family, you share so much, you're close, there's celebrations that you have, there's honoring, there's graduation, because, the graduation or the things that are celebrated are the achievements, the love, the positive energies. And that could be not only celebrating each other, but, the things that we do together. And you are uplifted, you are raised, you are elevated in this home. But yeah, I'm definitely getting, something about a comparison, and also now needing to decide like, okay, which way do we actually take to move forward? But again, this way of moving forward is not necessarily being seen at this time, because this chariot has been, destroyed, because this illness, this accident, this injury is not being faced. It's coming through as like a limitation. Interesting how here, even in this like area, we have 2, 3, 4. It looks like this grouping, was definitely given, again, 3, those multiple opportunities that could have been, should have been, would have been, coulda, woulda, shoulda. It's coming through like that, where the challenge here, even with the 3 words, illness, accident, injury, the challenge here is actually like, moving towards this higher self, being open to, being guided, or having taken this blueprint and actually putting it into action. That's coming through as like, how do we actually do this right now? I'm being led to look at this figure's face, and this face is like, it's looking down, like, it's almost like somebody who's frowning, or, when somebody has like, their eyebrows looking down, it's like very much angered and stuff. It's like holding on to an energy that's not necessarily serving at this time. And it's like, I'm holding on to my wand. We don't even have the Ace of Wands here, but it's like, I'm going to hold on to my ability or capability, what I know is my strength, which is to cause reversal of fortune. It's like, I'm holding on to this knife. This person is holding on to their ability to attack. And, it looks like they have spent time working on getting their weapon to what it is. Whereas other weapons that they don't see behind them, or other ways of using your energy, your magic, are unknown to them. And it's like, you see how these sugar canes are like trying to like turn into them. It's like, hey, we could be pouring so much love, so much attention, so much, again, this love that's being found. This love that's being found, that the collective has, it's like, as this love is being found, it could be poured into this person. I'm even seeing again, the coulda, woulda, shoulda, multiple attempts to shake this person's perspective from seeing that their wand is actually, going in the other direction. It's going away from them, because it's, attacking other people versus going towards this higher self. So it's definitely coming through as this challenge because they're not seeing what's behind them. They're not seeing that, they did have an opportunity, or, more than one opportunity to engage in a fruitful manner to make a plan that leads to this homecoming. It's interesting how, this card came out here and it's not in the flow. It's not in the, the sequence, or it's in the order of what we could have achieved in the background. So it's definitely showing that it was out of order. And look at this this car or this chariot is out of order. I'm even seeing, with me mentioning like how there's something to do with the left leg. I think this person might have had an accident or an injury, and you might even see them like limping, or there's something just to do with their left leg. I think there's, something just about their steps not being correct. Again, 2 to 4, and I don't know, it's out of order again. What's in the middle of this reading is the Four of Cups. And, when I look at this, it's like not seeing everything. It's like ignoring something that spirit or our guides, our angels, our ancestors, or that the situation is trying to like bring forward to you. I'm also looking at this, of course, with it being cups. It's about, our emotions, our healing, our intuition. So it's like new insight, an opportunity to heal this illness has been presented, this injury has been presented, but this person has not taken it. I'm even looking at how these feet look just like these feet over here, and it looks like, there was some kind of like transformation over time where you were once human, and because now this squid came over your head, this squid kind of took over you. And anytime you do see, or I'm speaking to this energy, right? It's like anytime you do see this opportunity to elevate, to be expanded, to be with the angel, that we once saw, this new light, you are, now ignoring these other pathways, these other opportunities, because again, here's the number 3. So 3 instances, 3 of Wands, higher self, and it's like that emotional aspect, the intuitive aspect, the healing aspect are all being ignored in favor of disturbing where the elevation is, where the light is. So, it's interesting how like, in the traditional tarot cards, this image or this individual would typically be looking at what they've already built or what they've already accumulated and not seeing that there's this one thing coming in. Whereas in this case, the eyes are focused on disturbing this new entrance or this new insight, and they are now less focused on the good that could be achieved in this situation. So it's like, how do I bother this light, because I see that this, this cup even looks like as a person. It looks like, it too has eyes, and it has a face, and it looks like this is the collective coming in with this happy-go-lucky energy, taking flight. And it's like you came out of nowhere, and it's like, here's this new thing to play with, here's this new toy. And it looks like, with this image of the muffs on the hands, it's like, yes, here's something that I'm going to catch. But it's like they want to play with this cup, they want to interfere with this cup, but then because it's like a star, stars like the sun is very hot, it's very bright, it feels like they even are trying to arm up to try and catch you, or get you in a situation. Okay, that's what I'm seeing here with the Emperor. It's like they're trying to get you off your throne. Man, okay, it's I don't know, it's like there's this tug of war energy right now that I'm feeling. It's like, okay, Spirit wants me to go to this Emperor, but it's like, no, stay over here. It's like, let's keep playing this game. Let me keep bothering you, let me keep like usurping you, draining you, siphoning you, and without you seeing that like this is actually my true intention. Because it's like, if this is what's now in the middle of the reading of like, why is this actually happening? Here we having like this, maybe their desired result or what they would like to see. And then of course, we're going to get into our potential outcome over here. It's like, what they would like to see is you off of your crown, off of your throne, because now they see that, like, yo, this person resembles an aspect of embodiment, an aspect of authority, or what they could have been or should have been had they taken a different choice, had they gone down a different path. I'm getting an energy of like jealousy as well, where like, why are you the one who's got the sword? Why are you this, this smaller figure? I'm looking at it, of course, as the dog. I mean, this is a smaller animal. Here's a big animal. And it's like, masquerading as, I also want to bring life into a situation, So, from the top, I'm also looking at this as a tree from an objective view, or like a high view, like a bird's eye view. You'd be able to look at this tree and look at this flower, and even looking at how this kind of looks like sand and the earth, you'd actually think that, oh, okay, that's just like normal ground, but actually it is a monster that's hiding, or a monster that's like not wanting to be exposed, because there's things that were not being dealt with, because again, they were using their weapons incorrectly. So even as I'm looking at it, what's on both sides, it's like this energy is very much disarming, because it's like, here you were trying to take your knife towards disturbing the collective, and this light, this opportunity, this new way of like getting to your Four of Cups, which would have led to a stable or stability of some kind, which could have actually led us to a Four of Wands. 4 and 4 together again was the 8, which was that manifestation, or is that manifestation. But now with me seeing it as a was, it's like, because we've recognized them for being disarmed, now they're not going to actually have any power or any ability to affect us, the collective, in any way of like us ruling our kingdom, us discerning, us making decisions and actions that are actually leading towards greater things. Yo, that's very interesting, very much interesting. And then just coming here to the Temperance, I don't know, there's something else about this Emperor card. Let me see. I'm looking at these crystals, and I always have crystals here on the table, but it's like, I'm thinking about how, crystals have different properties, and these properties are things that we need to tap into. Earlier on in the reading, I was getting something about amber, and these crystals are also giving that type of amber energy, with them being orange. So it's like, there's two sides of it, amber being, if you think of like the colors in like a robot as well, amber's like caution, warning. But I'm getting the sense of like, this person is not necessarily tapping into these qualities, these capabilities within themselves. Ooh, confirmation burp. Toggles, that are going to allow them to hone in on an energy that is actually beneficial to them. I'm even being led to check now, like, let's actually see before I even say the wrong thing or incorrect. Well, I don't know. But, I'm keen to look at like the amber crystal benefits. Yeah, let's look at that. So it says here, amber crystals are associated with several purported benefits, including pain relief. What? This person is in pain. Goodness, sorry, man. Stress reduction and energy boosting. They are believed to promote physical healing. Wow. Balance emotions and protect against negative energy. Some traditions also link amber to the cleansing of chakras, specifically the solar plexus and the sacral chakras. Wow. Before I started this reading, I was thinking like, maybe let me put different crystals on here. But with this Shiva Lingam, as well as with this tiger's eye, it's like, it just makes sense now. It's like, even with this rose quartz that I've put here, it's like, let's bring these loving energies to these lower chakras. Whoa, this is crazy. Wow, Spirit, thank you for coming through, doing what it do, man. Even as I'm thinking about it, the solar plexus and the sacral, the yellow, the orange. Just look at how much yellow and orange we have over here and even over here. in this card with the lost, it's like, it's like, look at these two lights, these opposing lights, how, they are moving from darkness and affecting this light. And it's like, I was speaking to how, there's the throat chakra energy as well. It's like this person's way of communicating is like communicating with violence, whereas they needing to go towards the light, but then on their way to the light, it's like, nah, let me bring you to the lost. Let me reverse this fortune and bring you to my side where there's more darkness, I mean, these people are in an alleyway. So it's like, they're trying to catch you off guard as well, in a sense. And yeah, that's not proper, man. That is not proper at all. Yeah, there's something also about these numbers. I don't know. It's like 16 to 30. I don't know if like maybe, during the teenager years until the time that we turn 30, we go through so many things that are ultimately building us or shaping us in our character, I think, especially as a teenager, we go through different experiences. So maybe this is actually speaking to something that this person could have carried from like that kind of period or time frame from 16 to 30. And by the time they were 30, it was like so ingrained within them that it was no turning back. It's almost like, imagine having children young. And by the time you turn 30, you realize like, oh, flip, man, if I didn't do what I did when I was 16, I could have actually like made a different decision. I could have actually been a father at 30 versus being a father at 16. Switch it around as the roles, are coming through. I think like it's something like that. But yeah, I just get the sense that at a certain age or at a particular age, they realize that like, yo, this is not actually my roots. I'm looking here in the background, it's like, with the tree, and now they are in front of the tree, and instead of looking at what's behind them, now they are bothering anything that's ahead of them. Wow, scratching my nose. We sniffed this thing out, gang. Spirit's been coming through with so many like interesting synchronicities lately, and wow, I'm just glad that I'm here to deliver this message. So thank you, Spirit. Thank you so much. But yeah, I'm just being brought back to the amber, gang. It's like, just look at the amber again with the orange over there. It's like healing is available to you, but you're just so focused on presentations, how things appear to be. But then this false sense of keeping up appearances, wow, man, I'm actually kind of feeling sorry for this person right now. I'm actually feeling sorry for them for thinking that, their weapon actually was going to prosper. But as we know, like, no weapon formed against us as the collective is ever going to prosper. They didn't tap into these energies. These energies, look at this. It's like, if this kind of looks like a door, it's like these crystals, these opportunities for pain relief, stretch reduction, to kind of like hone in on themselves. Yeah, this stretch being reduced, but also stress reduction and energy boosting was brought right to them, because even with the crystals being around, I mean, the energy, the vibration, it's rising, the energy is high. These things were bought or brought to the forefront. Yours looks like, even things were like bought to help them. I don't know what they might have purchased, but whatever these things that they tried to purchase, guys, I mean, it's in reverse. It didn't work. So it looks like multiple failed attempts as well. I'm even being brought back to this Four of Cups. It's like, instead of looking at why these things didn't work, why didn't I get this healing? Why didn't I get my emotions balanced all over again? Instead, let me just focus on looking at other people who are in their bag, who are, on their wealth, on their path to abundance, to finding love, being passionate, being, what was that at the background again? Who are connected. But yeah, this is very much a disconnection energy. And now I think, yeah, I definitely tapped into what that was. Thank you, Spirit, for telling me to pause right there, because you know what? And again, why did we need to pause? Because this is temperance, right? This is a reminder to say we shouldn't be startled so much that we aren't able to tone it down, that we aren't able to like have patience. It's temperance could also be patience. And in this case, because it is in reverse, it's like having, a lack of patience. So again, this comes through as like someone trying to like usurp us, trying to get us to be out of character, perform in a way that it is not in this embodied whole state, not being, the king that is using their power for good versus abusing their power. And as we know, the knowledge's power is an incomplete statement, whereas it is the application of knowledge that is power. So many downloads are trying to come through there at the same time, but it's like flip, man, where was I? Come on. What they want us to forget. They want us to forget. They want to keep us away from like honing in on this energy. Damnation. Don't they want to get us down, huh? Don't they want us to be damned? I'm thinking about, what's that album by G-Eazy, The Beautiful and Damned? Again, two opposite sides, the beautiful and the damned, exploring this journey of what makes us beautiful, what makes us damned. And if we are misusing our power, abusing our power, then we are ultimately forsaken. We are shunned in a sense, we are drowning. I'm also getting that drowning energy with, me looking at this water, and I'm also thinking damned. So a dam is like, a big body of water. And I mean, look what we've got here. Okay, thank you for bringing us back, Spirit. Thank you. What do you do? Look at this. This person is like seeing their reflection, in the water. And instead of, us now being drowned, in this reverse, it could kind of be looked at like gravity, where this water could actually be like coming down. It's like there's this blessing that could be brought to you, or that's awaiting you. But because of this lack of temperance, this lack of patience, then there's no alchemy, there's no union or cohesion taking place. Again, we're getting that number two. These two parties, these two forces are not like coming together. As I'm looking at BMO here, it's interesting. I'm noticing it now. It's like this controller looks like it's disconnected to me in this position, but in this upright position, it looks like, the controller is being offered. But in this position, it looks like it's actually being disconnected. And I'm getting that, there was an opportunity, also just coming back to this Four of Wands. And it's interesting to see both of these as like, opportunities to play, opportunities to participate. Whereas we could have been elevated, now it's being disconnected. Ooh, here's that disconnection coming through again. And look at that, the card just fell down. Why? Because, they're not tapping into their intuition. And behind that, look at that, Five of Wands, causing more conflict, more competition. Because what did we say earlier? Because you are the sun. And again, failing to take the higher path, failing to take the higher road, and realize that this structure is actually not serving, this routine, this train of movement, there we go. This movement, this chariot, this path that we've been taking is actually not leading to much that is constructive, that is building to anything. Wow. I hope you guys saw that actually in the video, because I didn't mean to like, move the cards, but it's like, yo, let's like unravel this thing one time. So interesting, man. So interesting. Wow. But yes, here we are with the Temperance again in reverse. I think, wait, what else do we have here? Oh, man, look at that. They tried to get the Angel upset. They tried to get us as the collective upset. But again, I think this is, and again, this is just a reminder for us to stay in our balanced state. People just want to upset us. They really like poke us. They bully us. They want to get us to almost deal with their issues for them, I'm even getting this energy of like, telling somebody like the truth, like just giving them a piece of your mind. But then the honest best thing that we can do is just focus on our balance, on being the stars, being illuminated. Because now that we see this situation, it's like, are we going to pour energy and time into things that actually aren't for us? or are we just going to focus on what we need to do, I'm actually wondering now, Spirit, can you please give us like some guidance for, us as the collective? Okay, you just flipped around. Okay, here we go. Let's focus on our dreams. Let's focus on what it is that we want to manifest. Let's get some, okay, Spirit saying take this card as well. Let's not be brought out of the things that are taking us away from our existence. Okay, Spirit saying take this one as well. And the things that don't allow us to celebrate. This is also coming through as like, what? Company? Ooh, wow, look at that. We just got receptivity popping out. Let me put it over here. I think let's get some more. Let's see. What else can we say for the collective with regards to the situation? What advice can we give? Okay, Spirit is saying take this one here. And at the back of the deck, we've got postponement. So I think this is part one over here, as I was asking about what it is that we should do. And I hope you saw that, like the card just like flipped by itself. So it felt like, okay, take me. And, I just saw my light flickering there in the background, the flame. It's like, you know what, guys, we need to focus on the dream, because if I'm also looking at this as like, the transitional energy, it's like, these people want us to not focus on our existence, the things that we are actually like bringing into blossom, bringing into creation. And ultimately, this will take us away from our celebration or what it is that's coming in, these blessings. I'm thinking about like, rain is like blessings coming down. And again, this is like a blocking energy of what could possibly happen should we not focus on the dream. It looks like we are definitely on a path to manifest something. And with me even looking at the sword, I'm just getting the sense of like, let's discern, because if this is what we are focusing on, we can't be in a state of worry or concern or losing focus, because this is what could be happening to us if we don't focus on the dream. Following from that, the receptivity, the burden, and then again with the turning in. I'm getting this like sacred geometry energy right now, and I'm definitely now being drawn to like, even bringing that seed of life into this. And it's like what we are going to pour into, with me getting 3-3, I'm looking at it just after the dream. It's like we need to pour into, if I'm thinking about it from my case, we need to pour into Root Holistic because, of this logo. I'm also getting, it's like we are pouring into the energies that are receptive to us, the things that we are energetically aligned with, and where we can be, bare, where we can be nude, where we can open ourselves up. And I'm also getting, this world energy, and like, how when we look at the globe, it has like all these ley lines, or like the latitude, longitude lines. It's like you are at this center or at this core, and you opening yourself up to spread energy is actually what's going to cause this bloom or this blossom, and then actually heal the world. You are actually going to, I'm getting, or what's that in the Two of Cups, like caduceus or caduceus or something, that healing symbol, man. So it's like you just need to focus on your healing. I'm also getting something about like a seed, it's like planting a seed in the dream. It's like, that's why it's like above, below, as above, so below. Look at that with the hands up as well. It's like you just need to continue surrendering to the universe, because surrender to this, look at this body of water, to the ocean, give to the ocean, give to the water. Throat chakra energy is coming through as well over here about taking responsibility, listening, as well as speaking. So heeding the guidance and acting on that guidance, because your healing is going to spread out into the world. And look at all that light being channeled and coming in. So you opening yourself up to receiving, opening yourself up to the dream. And that will actually allow you to drop your burdens, because if they're trying to block your existence, you need to actually see it for what it is. It's a burden. And at the beginning of this reading, did I not just say that, like, no matter what actually happens, if we continue to see ourselves through the eyes of Source, we will know that even through the burdens, we are actually being led to new places or new spaces where we are just learning something about our environment, about the decisions, and, even the mental constructs that we have in our mind. I'm looking at this as the 6 of Swords, and that, of course, speaks to a transition. And I'm getting who's this guy who reviews music? Anthony Fantano. At the end of his of his reviews, he's like, transition. Did you love it? Did you hate it? And it's like, I'm also getting that right now. It's like, when you look at this burden, you could have actually, if you reviewed it, did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you learn what you needed? Are you going to come back for another review? Are you going to participate in this rodeo again? But honestly, like, we're not going to do that anymore, because from having tapped into ourselves, we can see that this is actually taking us out of our bag, out of our element. And we don't want to be out of our element, because again, it's going to take us away from our blessings, our abundance, from the celebration, or the tribe, the energy, that state, that honing in, that embodiment. This, I'm getting something about a hive, a hive, a tribe, this space that's being created where beautiful things are occurring within, and you don't want to be now taken out of that because you were failing to, turn in. I'm also looking at this as how this whole situation is like kind of being shown to us as like being flipped on its head, because here's the water, it looks like the water's coming in, and here it's like the water's now at the at the top, and it's like it's going away from us. The blessings are going away from us, the water is going away from us. Look at that, the water's going away from us. Three instances with this Three of Cups in reverse. It's like, even from 3 to 4, it's like the more we go in this direction, 34, I'm even getting that now from this. It's like from 30 to 34, it's like 4 steps, which could have been, again, what did we say? The Four of Wands. Us focusing on what could have been. This family, this structure, this homecoming is actually getting us away from this water that was coming in, or this blessing, this abundance that's coming in. Wow. 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 Mm. Mm, 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 mm. Interesting. Interesting. And again, with the 4, just look at the back of the deck. 4 of Swords, or in this case, postponement. Are we really gonna delay our things any longer? Are we really gonna procrastinate and be usurped or taken aback by energies that don't want us to rest, that don't want us to actually tap in or tune into ourselves? Because in fact, you know what? This 4 of Cups in reverse, this 4, oh my goodness, here it's coming through. But anyway, 4 of Cups is over here in the upright, and here it's in reverse. I'm taking this as like, an acceptance that this is what it is, that we are now not going to forsake us, turning in. I'm also getting, oh wow, look at all the 4s, 4, 4, 4, 4, like, whoa, whoa. 4 being before 5, 5 is the number of change, 4 again being, look at all the, we were just saying now, like there were so many attempts or possibilities or opportunities for stability. Look at that, 4, 4, 4. It's like, I'm even getting Jay-Z right now, how, with that Jay-Z album with 444, and how many are upright over here? So we've got 2 4s upright, 2 4s in the reverse. Again, the 2 numbers that are misaligned. But in this album, like, isn't Jay-Z trying to drop some knowledge? Isn't Jay-Z trying to teach us, like, even in these older years, even as wise people, he can teach the young generation. So this person is quite stubborn, gang. This person definitely doesn't want to learn anything new, and instead, of course, they would just rather burden us. They would just rather burden us. I'm looking at this rooster, and it's reminding me of the previous reading as well. And even in that reading, we were speaking to how, with all the charms and stuff, we were speaking to how the older chickens, are going to lead or guide the chicks, the younger chickens. So instead of guiding them, it's like imposing upon them, just being on top of them. So what's that old advert in the day? If it's not on the bottom, it's on top. I don't know, it's something about like what Cremora, I believe it was. So, that they're not adding the milk, they're not adding, I don't know, it's like not milk and honey. They're not adding anything sweet to this. They're not adding to the equation, because even Cremora, it was added to the mix, added to whatever it was, the coffee that you were making, I don't know, people add Cremora to cereal. I don't know, there's so many things you could do with powdered milk. But, I'm even getting powdered milk, like it being old as well, like expired in a sense as well, because it's not in its pure form, straight from the source. So it's also coming through as that this person or this energy is away from source, like, whoa, in a new form that is artificial. Yo. Ne? Wow. Anyways, guys, let's focus on our rest. This is clearly something that's trying to take us away from our rest. And again, nothingness from the void. This is an opportunity for us. They're taking us away, or away an opportunity from ourselves. So let's not do that. Let's not forsake the guidance. Oh, the transformation. Goodness, I could just keep going there. But let me stop here. Spirit, thank you so much for the message. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you. Like, share, subscribe. Yo, interesting reading. Thank you for being here again. Oh, my throat's like clearing, like getting clogged up. Let me just drink something. But yes, thank you. Peace, love, and light. Yay. Peace, gang.